The United States Navy Sea, Air, and Land Teams, commonly known as Navy SEALs, are the U.S. Navy's primary special operations force and a component of the Naval Special Warfare Command. Among the SEALs' main functions are conducting small unit special operation missions in maritime, jungle, urban, Arctic, mountainous, and desert environments. SEALs are typically ordered to capture or kill high-level targets, or to gather intelligence behind enemy lines. SEAL team personnel are hand-selected, highly trained, and possess a high degree of proficiency in direct action and special reconnaissance, among other tasks like sabotage, demolition, and intelligence gathering. The CIA, Highly Secretive and Elite Special Operations Group, SOG, recruits operators from the SEAL teams. Although not formally founded until 1962, the modern-day SEALs trace their roots to World War II. The United States military recognized the need for the covert reconnaissance of landing beaches and coastal defenses. As a result, the Joint Army, Marine Corps, and Navy Amphibious Scout and Raider School was established in 1942 at Fort Pierce, Florida. The Scouts and Raiders were formed in September of that year, just 9 months after the attack on Pearl Harbor. President John F. Kennedy, aware of the situation in Southeast Asia, recognized the need for unconventional warfare and special operations as a measure against guerrilla warfare. In a speech to Congress on the 25th of May 1961, Kennedy spoke of his deep respect for the United States Army Special Forces, while his announcement of the government's plan to put a man on the moon drew most of the attention. In the same speech, he announced his intention to spend over $100 million to strengthen U.S. Special Operations Forces and expand American capabilities in unconventional warfare. The Pacific Command recognized Vietnam as a potential hotspot for unconventional forces. At the beginning of 1962, the UDTs started hydrographic surveys, and along with other branches of the U.S. military, the Military Assistance Command Vietnam, MACV, was formed. In March 1962, SEALs were deployed to South Vietnam as advisors for the purpose of training the Army of the Republic of Vietnam commandos in the same methods they were trained themselves. The Central Intelligence Agency began using SEALs in covert operations in early 1963. The SEALs were later involved in the CIA-sponsored Phoenix program, where it targeted Viet Cong infrastructure and personnel for capture and assassination. Before getting accepted into basic underwater demolition or BUDS training, a prospective candidate must pass a certain number of both mental and physical requirements. Candidates receiving a passing score may then be admitted into training to become Navy SEALs. SEAL training is extremely rigorous. The attrition rate fluctuates, but averages at about 80%. In August 1990, SEALs were the first Western forces to deploy to the Persian Gulf as part of Operation Desert Shield. They infiltrated Kuwait, the capital city, within hours of the invasion and gathered intelligence and developed plans to rescue U.S. Embassy staff should they become hostages. SEALs were also the first to capture Iraqi prisoners of war when they assaulted 9 Kuwaiti oil platforms on the 19th of January 1991. On the 23rd of February 1991, a 7-man SEAL team launched a mission to trick the Iraqi military into thinking an amphibious assault on Kuwait by coalition forces was imminent by setting off explosives and placing marking buoys 500 meters off the Kuwaiti coast. The mission was a success, and Iraqi forces were diverted east away from the true coalition offensive. The SEALs were first into Kuwait City in their desert patrol vehicles when it was recaptured. In the immediate aftermath of the 11th of September attacks, Navy SEALs quickly dispatched to Camp Dahl, and those already aboard U.S. naval vessels in the Persian Gulf and surrounding waters began conducting operations against ships suspected of having ties to or even carrying al-Qaeda operatives. The SEALs inserted into Afghanistan to conduct the SR of what would become Camp Rhino, as part of Operation Enduring Freedom, Afghanistan. For the 2003 invasion of Iraq, a squadron of SEALs operated as part of Task Force 20. Their role was to conduct heliborne direct action raids, particularly against high-value targets. The Naval Special Operations Task Group was assigned to Operation Iraqi Freedom, and was built around a core of SEAL Teams 8 and 10. The Naval Task Group was principally tasked with the capture of the port of Qasr, Iraq's only deep-water port, the oil pipeline facilities of the Al-Fa Peninsula, and the 2 offshore platforms the pipelines fed. Once these initial target sets were secured, the task group would support conventional forces in the south, conducting reconnaissance and raiding activities. The SEALs have become a part of pop culture, featuring in numerous novels and TV shows. The image of the Tier 1 Special Forces operative continues to capture the imagination of audiences with hit shows such as The Terminal List starring Chris Pratt, written by Jack Carr, himself a former Navy SEAL.